Hello scrappy friends, welcome back. I have a video today for Hey Little Magpie. I'm just going to show you the reel I shared on Instagram where I made these hearts. So I've poured some wax onto my silicone mat, spread it with my palette knife, let that dry and then punched it with a couple of different heart punches. Those hearts I'm going to use to make a shaker pocket. Now I do use these frames from the collection. I start with the blue frame and then I forget to put the acetate in. So I put the foam tape all around the frame, forget to put the acetate in. So plan B, I get the pink one. I then stick the acetate in and then put the foam tape around the frame. The wax hearts that I made for the Instagram reel then go in the frame, and I've used some from my stash which I've had for years. I couldn't even remember when I got them, what collection they were with or anything. Some sequins from American Crafts. There are different greens and like a goldy colour, more of a brass really, and there's black in there and some white, so I avoid the black and pop in some of the gold and the different greens and some of the white. Now I do take the punched hearts out in a minute to pop in the sequins. Now with these punched hearts, they are different colours because I was putting in different blues into a green that was already in there. So the blues are from the Head in the Clouds wax bead collection from Hey Little Magpie. And yeah, I just melted the wax as usual, and as you saw, spread that over my silicone mat. It didn't take long to dry and then I could just punch it. So with the backing on these shaker frames, this is actually the packaging. I forgot to mention at the beginning I'm using Head in the Clouds collection, or I did mention it and I've now forgot I mentioned it. I'm using the packaging, so I'm upcycling that packaging from the embellishments from this collection to use as the backing for the shaker frames. I was just having a look through some of the die cuts then to embellish that other frame to use that as another embellishment on the page. I'm going to use this sheet which has a 6x4 and 3x4 cut parts on the back. I do cut out this journaling card that I want to use. Now, back years ago I did a class with Amy Tangerine, and there was a technique in that where we'd cut out a 6x4 journaling card and then backed that hole in the paper with another piece of paper. And I just really liked that. I have not done it for a while, so I thought I'd do that here. Now, because I've hand cut this, it's not straight, so I'm looking for a piece that covers the whole thing rather than just backing it with something so you can't see my wonky edges. I decided to go for this radial pattern. Now, what I do is I actually cut it down. So I've gone along one of the lines from the circles, the concentric circles through the pattern. I've gone along one of the lines and I'm cutting along that line to give me then the circle. I decide it's much too big because I do only really want it wide enough to cover that piece that I've cut out. So I then go along a different line that's further in and cut along that to give me a smaller piece. And don't worry, the cut off bits will get used. So with the top photos, so this is me and Mr. Ding at our favourite little cafe bistro in Rosemarkie in Scotland. This is called Crofters. So with that picture of the two of us, I want that to come in line at the top. Oh, there I am. I'm just pulling it back up after I stuck it because I want to distress it. Because it's hand cut, it's not going to be completely straight. So if you distress it, doesn't matter. So the picture of me and Mr. Ding, I've got that. So it's in line with where the straight edge finishes, where the circle starts. And then the picture of the front of the bistro, I want that along the bottom of that straight edge. And then the frame comes down a little bit lower. I'm just now getting a strip to cover that gap up between the photos, and I am not going to have that going all the way to the end of the page. The intention was that it gets cut off at some point. I just want to do the other embellishing to see where it was before I cut it off, so I just place it in there for now. Now I get the cut apart sheet from the 6x8 pad here, and to cut out some of the words from that sheet, so these little word pieces, and I add one to the bottom of that frame. Whilst I'm doing this, I notice that there's a thinner strip on these, and I replace the sun strip with that strip of hearts. And I really like that, and it's kind of just comes to the edge of the paper, so that's 6 inches wide, and it's really nice. I take this also from the same cut apart, so it's a little date label, says today, but I don't want the pink background to it. I want it to have that shape, so I do trim around that. Just going through now the cut parts because I'm looking for a title. So initially I go with this snapshot title. It's a it's a selfie that I've taken of us, and so I go with that originally, and I decide I'm not completely happy with it because I want the layout to be stepping up towards that edge, and I instead choose some of these gold glittery pieces. So I get the big heart and have that, so use that strip as a shelf for it and have that on there. And so I'm just sticking that strip down before I add anything else, so it doesn't end up moving. So I've used that as a shelf to stick the big heart on, and then I'm going to put the word heart, and then there's a smaller sticker I just put above it that says this speaks to my. It's all in Shimelle's handwriting, and this speaks to my is in different colours, so I really like it, and it goes with as well those different colours on the back of on that big circle as well. So once that's all stuck down, just taking off some more of the backing that had stuck to it when I've taken off the main sheet. I'm now thinking about what's coming down below my shaker pocket. I was just adding something else more there to my shaker pocket, so it feels a little unfinished. Okay, so now it's thinking about what's coming down under that, because it kind of just stops and it feels very unfinished looking at it there. So just going through the other embellishments with it, I do at some point remember my journaling block that I cut off. Pull those suns back over, they don't stay there. But I do remember that journaling block, and I'll bring that back in a moment. Now I trimmed down one edge of it because it was hand cut, so the edge that's going along the edge of the page does get cut down to make sure it is, flush to the edge. And I decide I'm going to tuck it under and just have, because of the space that's there, just have that bit showing. So I've put adhesive on the back, on the bottom half of it, and the top half of it I've put the adhesive on the forward facing bit, which is where it's stuck to the back. I do decide I'm going to use this frame. It does get moved on its side, and it does get backed on a piece of this packaging. We are about to stop the fast forward bit, so hand over to me real time. Okay, so sorry about that. I hadn't realised the video stopped recording, so we haven't got the end of this. That frame I messed up at the beginning and I forgot to put the acetate in. I have put some of the same packaging, so I've recycled the packaging at the back of the frame. I've added these 3D stickers, and so like this word one, I've chosen another one from that cut apart sheet. I've made my own frame out of some white American crafts, put a bit of this packaging in the back of it, added another one of these 3D stickers and another word. I've also a bit of this, the bit that was cut round here, the bit I cut off, I've trimmed a bit down just to balance it, because without this, let me show you actually, because it's a temporary adhesive at the minute. So it was very heavy over on this side and felt very top heavy with this dark piece at the top, so I thought I needed to add something to balance it over here. So that's a little bit too low. It's a problem with taking this off because I've got to now remember exactly where it was. So yeah, I made another frame because I had none of the frames left from the collection. Made another frame and did the same with the packaging, 3D foam, the word strips and the 3D sticker. This actually was here, then here, then here. It
travelled around the page quite a bit. So there we go, all done. Thanks very much for watching. Have a great day. Bye bye.